Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. SaleenDriver once again coming to you with episode 78 of Wednesday Afternoon Live with SaleenDriver. The show about nothing in particular. I'm sure you all are familiar with the format by now, so just it's a free form show about, as you said, nothing in particular, just whatever pops up in the chat, whatever pops up in my head, whichever I deem more important at the time, I run with, and that's all there is to it. Sorry about the confusion a little earlier. I will explain real quick. Good afternoon to Neo. Good afternoon to Battle Angel. By the way, Battle Angel, my selfie stick will be here ostensibly on Friday. So I'll make sure that I, show it off for you so that you know I actually took your advice, which was so succinctly put. Buy a selfie stick, old man. I'll never forget that as long as I live. Let's see. Ken Spear checking in from Pittsburgh. Good to see you, sir. One of my watch buddies. Pizza Woman's here. How are you, my dear? But I am sorry about the confusion earlier of when I was going to start this. I was unsure because my parents were unsure. See, my parents, anyone who doesn't know, are glass collectors. They collect art work in glass, blown glass, cast glass, whatever. They're expecting a piece today. My father had a medical appointment, and UPS rescheduled when they thought they were going to drop the piece off, which was when they weren't going to be there. So I only live half a mile down the road from them. So I said I would watch the house and receive the piece if it came. It didn't, obviously. But this is not one of these things that you want bouncing around a UPS truck. It costs a lot of money. It's very heavy. It's also, as glass is, somewhat fragile. So obviously, if given the incompetence sometimes that occurs during shipping, if it can get off the truck in one piece and I'm there to receive it, that's what we want. Now, the other side of that is that at any time during the stream, my father could call me and say, come over here, unpack this thing and put it where we want it. And I will have to cut the stream at that point. So I'm hoping that we can go as long as we can. But if I have to go, I have to go. I mean, I love you guys to death. I really do. But my father and my mother's wishes come first. Actually, my father, my mother, and my daughter's wishes come first. 1A through 1D, in no particular order. Anyway, let's see. Ken Pierce is wearing his Tissot PRX. I am wearing something I haven't worn in a while. I will take it off for you so you can get a good look at it. This is because today is a full moon. I decided to wear one of my moon phase watches today. This is an Arnold & Son moon phase watch. The moon phase is down at the 6 o'clock. This is a big watch. It's about 48 millimeter. This is the biggest diameter watch I own. Arnold & Son is a very well-known old European watch maker, watch house, timepiece house in Europe. And I thought I haven't worn a dinner plate on my wrist in a while, so I figured today was a good day for that. But a Tissot, can't go wrong with a Tissot. Jacob Watson's here. Good to see you, sir. Chess Hall is here. I am well. My parents are well. It seems that Chess You're having a little bit of problems with people making troll accounts, as you put up a video about this morning. That happens. I always interpret these troll accounts as you're getting under people's skin. So I take it as sort of a backwards compliment in a way. But keep doing what you're doing, man. Don't worry about the trolls. Let's see. Jacob Watson says, big fight at your school. Really? I did not know that. Elaborate if you want. P Digits is here with his normal Finkel as Einhorn. Family first of that. Let's see. Uncle Lou is here. He says, where on that list do my wishes fall? I never thought about it, sir, but definitely after my family. And probably a little bit lower than Tiger Cat or Melissa May or Christy, since, I'm thirsty. What can I say? But not too far down, Uncle Lou. Not too far. Thank you, Chess. I think it's pretty cool watch too. It's a lot of. It's really a nice piece. Luckily, it doesn't give me a lot of trouble. It just needs to be reset every once in a while. Let's see. Chess, no, you shouldn't worry about keyboard warriors. Definitely not. Nothing. Well, Battle Angel. Wherever Lou falls in the pantheon, you'll be right, more or less even with him. And you'll be right there with the ladies, Pizza, Melissa May, Christy, Tiger Cat, Battle Angel. We'll put you all together in one group of your wishes are fairly high on my list of I'll fulfill them, but definitely beneath that of my family. Other quick update. I saw a post. It was put up about 3 hours ago from Kayla, BVD's daughter, and I'll just read it verbatim. So, Lou, if you want to count this as pray for BVD number 9, go ahead. I know you like to keep track of these kind of things, even though you're not a praying guy. More's the pity. Kayla typed in, I'm sorry I haven't kept everyone updated, but as everyone knows, Keith, BVD, he's really bad diabetic. Now, this is verbatim, so, forgive if there are grammatical. He's really bad diabetic, and he has grown a really bad wound on his foot. Don't know which one. And I didn't think they were going to do anything for it, but he just called me and told me they were taking him down for surgery. So please keep him in your thoughts and prayers, or in Lou's case, just thoughts. Please and thank you. So I'll look at the comments real quick to see if there's anything else in there that's pertinent. Prayers, thoughts, prayers. Okay, well, nothing past that. So as of about 3 hours ago, BVD was going in for surgery. One of his feet has an infection on it, and that will need to be cleared up. As you may or may not know, diabetics are prone to circulatory issues, which is one of the reasons among many that I walk every day, or pretty much every day, to keep my circulation going, keep the arteries and veins clear, that kind of thing. We're also prone to slow healing. So any kind of cut or anything like that, we tend to heal slower. So an infection on his foot can be serious. I hope it's not, and I'm really hoping that they're not taking him into surgery to take his foot. I mean, that would be a worst case scenario. And I'm not saying they did. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying that would be terrible. But that's the latest information I have on BVD. He's in the hospital, evidently. He went in for surgery this morning, and I don't have anything past that, but I thought everyone should be updated on that. That's bad. So my prayers to my friend BVD, Keith, to come out of surgery better than he went in. Let's see. Let's see. Jacob Watson says, I've seen a lot of TikTok shows Hall accounts on many different streams. I haven't, but I don't doubt that it happens. Wilkie's here. Good to see you, sir. Yeah, it's just, yeah. What else? I understand that something really bad happened this weekend with respect to my team. This past weekend, something really bad happened. I can't remember what it is though, so we'll just move on from there. J Dub's here. Good to see you, sir. What else we got? Because the stream might get cut short, I'm going to drop the StreamYard link earlier than as early as yeah. Rules, 2 rules with the StreamYard thing. A, you got to turn your camera on so I can see that it's you and not some naked freak. And B, I am going to rotate people in and out. So if we get up to 6 people in there and there's a 7th and an 8th person in the background, I'll just rotate in and out. It's nothing personal. I'll decide who I rotate in and out, since after all, it's my stream. And we'll just do it that way. But definitely you have to turn your camera on. All are welcome. While we're waiting for somebody to come into the StreamYard, if they want to, good to see you, Watch 62. Good to see you. Don't forget to click that thumbs up button. Rocky Golf? What the hell is Rocky Golf? Anyway, I'll get to you in a second. Don't forget to click the thumbs up. That always helps me out. There is a super chat function available at the bottom of the chat window in case you want to contribute to my next Grail Watch purchase. And also in the description, there is the PayPal link, which I will also post in the chat here as soon as I go get it. And then, so again, if you want to help with the Grail Watch purchase, that's always helpful too. I'm not sure who Rocky Golf is, but I'll take a chance that it's not somebody who's going to cause me to get my channel canceled.
Hey, what's going on, Saleen?
Rocky Golf. I don't get it.
Okay,
okay. Now I get it. Yeah, it took me a second because they chuck golf balls. I forgot about the golf ball chucking.
Yeah.
Everyone's concentrating on the mustard bottle and nobody's remembering about the golf balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was ugly. I didn't see the game, obviously. I was oh goody.
Well,
Dirty
it was
Sanchez
a great game.
is here. Isn't that great? I didn't see any game. I actually didn't see any games last weekend. I was at a car show and sort of a celebration of the establishment of Anna Maria Island as a separate city. They do this every year. They call it Bayfest. And out on Anna Maria Island, which is off the west coast of Florida, for some reason in 2021, they have shit for cell service. Literally had either 0 bars or 1 bar the entire time. I did get a few texts from, of all people, Uncle Lou, trolling me about Florida. Obviously, I mean, what else would he do? And I couldn't stream anything. I couldn't stream out. I couldn't watch any games. And then after the show was over, a bunch of us went out to dinner. And by the time I got home, it was like 7:30 or so, and all the games that were worth watching were over. So I saw nothing.
Yeah, but
And then I did see the last few minutes of the Tennessee game on YouTube, and that was terrible, quite frankly.
yeah, it was a rough scene too for such a great game. I mean, it was a great game, and the crowd was and it wasn't even those last few minutes. They were acting crazy all night.
Well, I mean, they got done dirty by Lame Kitten, so and he's been gone for a while, and this is the first time they got a chance to get a hold of him, quote unquote, get a hold of him at Neyland. So, I guess it was to be expected. Good to see you, Albert Sancho. Good.
Well,
Glad
the
you're
reason
here.
for it was a missed call at the end of the game. Apparently, Tennessee thought he got the first down. He was called short, and they started throwing bottles, mustard, golf balls, whatever.
Yeah. That's right. It was triggered by
Which,
it was it was kind of a iffy call. It could have gone either way, but it went against Tennessee, and the fans, I mean, I don't want to sound hypocritical because I mean, it's better now at the Swamp, but back when I was at UF back in the 80s, yes, last century, yes, I'm an old man, leave me alone. They used to throw big bundles of ice out of the drink cups. They used to throw it at the opposing team's bench, and the student section is right behind the opposing team's bench. They always put the opposing team on the east side of the stadium. That's where all the sun was. And it was right in front of the student section. So it was really very hostile. And they used to get pelted with ice, especially if you were Florida State.
Florida
Go
State.
figure. So, my fan base has been known to be cruddy, but never bottles of stuff and never golf balls. Although a big ball of ice will do some damage. And I saw some people trolling a little bit. Oh, they were throwing bottles, big deal. I said, you know what? I see you, J-Dub. I'll get you. I got you. I remember back in the summer of 2020, the riots that nobody talks about because they were, the right kind of people doing the riots instead of the wrong. But I don't want to get into that part. But one of the weapons they love to throw at cops were water bottles, especially frozen water bottles. And I've been, I mean, you get hit with a water bottle that's not frozen, that's going to hurt. Anyway, and frozen water bottle, you can get concussed through it, with that. But they were trolling a little bit. Oh, big deal! They're throwing water bottles. Well, how about I stand 10 feet away from you, troll, and throw a half full water bottle at you, and see if it don't hurt you when it hits you.
Yeah, water bottles.
Well, where did the mustard bottle come from? That's what I'm wondering about. Did they
think it
steal
was
it from the
just
concession
a random
stand?
thing. I guess they're using. Maybe they were just using their camera and they were just scrolling around the stadium basically, and it randomly flipped on a mustard bottle. That's what I think. My question is, who, like, that person who brought the golf ball and all that and mustard? They had to have come there to try to throw it. There's no other reason to bring golf balls to the game.
Yeah, I agree completely. I mean, why do you bring golf balls to a football game? I mean,
Unless you're going to throw it.
yeah, unless you're doing something, you're gonna do something stupid. You don't bring golf balls to a football game. I mean, there's no reason for it. There's absolutely 0% chance you can convince me that you're gonna do something positive with a golf ball.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people have such a hard time understanding this. There was not mustard in that bottle. I bet you $20 it wasn't.
Oh no, it's probably alcohol.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen mustard bottles, ketchup bottles, sunscreen bottles, baby powder bottles where they just use the screw off top. All
Mhm.
that stuff can be cleaned out and then booze poured in it, and then they try to sneak it in.
Oh
Now,
yeah, they used to do that
now
at the
that's
swamp. They did it with binoculars, fake
yeah,
binoculars.
yeah. Now it is much harder to do that now than it used to be, and 911 changed all of that. 20 years ago, you could get in the 80s and the 90s, you could get damn near anything into the stadiums. Now it's a lot more difficult, and they it's not that you can't, but they're watching stuff a lot more closely now.
Mm. Yeah.
But
Well.
like somebody said he threw a bottle of mustard, and I'm like, that wasn't. I mean, instantly within 5 seconds, I'm shouting at my TV, "Mustard my ass! That thing had moonshine in it."
Yeah,
Okay.
probably,
Well.
probably.
Yeah. My dad said he went to a Georgia Florida game about 20 years ago, and he was on the phone with somebody. He said this idiot Florida fan came around and smacked the phone out of his hand, and he said it caused a huge fight in the stadium. That, and he said he wasn't a part of it, but it caused a fight because the Florida fans smacked his phone out of his hand, and the Georgia fans tried to back him up, and then it just got crazy.
Oh yeah,
So
I've seen all kinds of stupidity before, during, and after football games as a Florida fan. I mean, I made the mistake one year of going to with a whole bunch of friends and big caravan, went to an FSU game, the one and only time I went to the Doak, which by the way is a dump, but that's beside the point. And it happened to be a year that we rolled in there and beat them in their team, in their stadium. I came out to my car, which had a UF parking decal on it, and and a gator plate on the front. All, let's see, the windshield was intact. I'll give him that. All five other windows were blown out, just destroyed. That cost me a lot of money. Not to mention all the time I spent driving the car over to a place where I could vacuum it out so I could drive back to Gainesville without sitting on broken glass. Was not happy with that. I've seen some stupid shit being perpetrated by Georgia fans at the cocktail party. I've seen some stupid shit perpetrated by Tennessee fans at the Swamp. Auburn fans were, believe it or not, Auburn fans at the Swamp were the worst. And because, well, for
really,
one thing, they regularly came in there and either gave us really close games or outright beat us. And just those fans were some of the worst fans. They were willing to throw down over a cross-eyed look. I mean, so I Florida fans are no angels either, but I've seen plenty of different fan bases start shit. I mean, I mean, I love college football. I love the Gators. Um, I've been a Gator fan since before pretty much everyone in here was born. And I like to say that a lot because it sounds good, but it's also true. But nothing I've ever witnessed or no level of passion in my heart for the University of Florida is worth that kind of level of reaction. I mean, I don't understand that level. And if there are people in here that are at that level, God bless you. I hope we never meet and you take a swing at me, but I just don't get that level where you have to resort to physical violence to show your fandom.
I
yeah,
would never, I would never conceive of throwing anything onto the field, and I certainly would not conceive of doing it in my own stadium.
No, that's the other part I don't understand. Well, I mean, I guess I understand that part better than throwing shit on the opposing team's field, because if you're a Tennessee fan at a Georgia game or an Alabama game or a Florida game, and you're at their house, you're gonna. I would tend to think most people would be on better behavior just because you're outnumbered 20-1.
Yeah.
But I do understand. So I guess from that point of view, I understand why you would act out in your own home field, because, well, you're surrounded
Well,
by like-minded people.
here's
And you,
here's what I can't figure out. It's $100,000 fine to the university if your students charge the field after the game. Didn't somebody get nicked $100,000?
Was it Arkansas? It was Arkansas, right? Or
Yeah,
was it?
somebody got dinged $100,000.
I think it was A&M. Yeah, it was A&M. It was
it
A&M.
was
Tennessee,
A&M, but
Tennessee,
Tennessee got
Tennessee.
dinged for $250,000 for this.
Right. But what Tennessee did
More.
sullied the reputation of the entire SEC and embarrassed the conference. They should have been hit for $1 million. They should have dropped the absolute atomic bomb on them.
Well, when they say, in the SEC, it just means more. I don't think this is what they were thinking of.
Well,
Exactly right.
Here's what I
I think
say.
I think the $250,000 fine for Tennessee was appropriate. I think if it happens again in the next during this year, if it happens again,
It'll probably be half.
I would then hit him with the $1 million fine, or maybe hit them with another $250,000 and then take away their bowl eligibility.
Look, all
their bowl eligibility should already be taken away for what they did with Jeremy Pruitt. So
look, all of you live in the Southeast, so I can say this with some affirmation. What happened at Tennessee reinforces the worst stereotypes of the SEC that the people in the Midwest and the upper Midwest have of the SEC. That is nothing but a bunch of drunk redneck bums. That's the stereotype that actions like that reinforce. That's why I say Sankey should have dropped the bomb on him.
well, I agree with you, but here's what I would have done, and I'm surprised I haven't done this. Tennessee fans say, well, it's not all of this. Well, if it's not all of you, how about you ban the people for life, everyone who threw something, instead of just the rest of the season? It should be life, in my opinion.
Well, first you have to find those people. I understand that's ongoing as we speak here.
Yeah, but they're not going to ban them. They're just going to charge them, arrest them, whatever. But it's not going to ban them. They should be banned as well.
There's a new name in the chat window. Irritated daycare receptionist.
Who's this?
I don't know. Did I miss something? Half the time I expect.
I tell you what, if I was a daycare receptionist, there's a great chance I would be irritated too. A lot of the time, so I get it.
Yeah, well, and the sad thing is that it was a great game up until that point. But the Tennessee fans, first of all,
Tennessee still had 3 timeouts. They were not out of the game.
Yeah, and they got the ball back.
They did get the ball back, but good to see you, Dave.
Yeah, what's up, man? Any news on BBD? How's he doing?
Yeah, I just read something that Caleb posted a few hours ago on Facebook. He was going in this morning for surgery on one of his feet. He has an infection, so they were taking him into surgery. And I haven't heard anything about how the surgery went. So hopefully Kayla will post up again later. I can get a hold of her. I haven't heard anything about how the surgery went, but
well, you know what they say, sometimes no news is good news.
Yeah. But surgery on an extremity on a diabetic.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yep.
Yep.
This is something I have nightmares about.
You know what really surprised me?
Especially since, remember, when he came home from the hospital that first time, and all of a sudden his feet swelled up.
Yeah,
remember he showed pictures of those on one of his streams that he did. His feet were all swollen. I said, you're retaining fluid, sir. This is not a good thing.
Well, I'm thinking about him always, man. Obviously, I known him a long time, and meeting him was definitely a thrill. I hope you're doing well, JW and golf, and everybody in the chat. I hope you guys are doing well. The Braves are stressing me out. The Braves are stressing me out.
Oh shoot!
To say the least.
Well, wait a minute. Have we gotten to the? I don't follow baseball even on a good day, but are we at the
NLCS
playoff?
Yeah, the Braves
we're down to the Final Four.
Yeah, the Braves were up 2-0. They stole a game in Game 2 in Atlanta. So and then the Braves blew a 5-2 lead in the 8th yesterday in LA. We're up 2-1, but the Dodgers did what we did in Game 2. But it's still frustrating. But it's Atlanta sports, man.
Who's playing in the American League?
Boston and Houston.
Really, Boston?
Yeah, they got a game up. It's 2-2, man. Hey, how about the game coming up next week?
I think Boston's going to win that.
Well, which game?
Yours, Georgia, Florida, man. Is it still called the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, or have they changed it?
No, it's still called that. They keep trying to change it. The PC crowd wants to change it to something else, but it's still the cocktail party. It always will be.
Too many soft.
Even if they do change it, I'll still call it the cocktail party, and everyone here will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and you want to know what? One of the things is that it's all about winning titles, right? And World Series and NBAs and all that stuff, Super Bowls. It's great being number one as far as Georgia's concerned for bragging rights, but that's really all it is, because all you got to do is, like Alabama, finish in the top 4. They'll be in the playoff. I think JWR number 3 right now. Am I accurate with that?
No, you're 4. You're 4.
So Alabama's 4.
Bama's got to win the SEC title or they're not going.
But if they stay in the number 4 spot, like I said, the main thing is for them just to be at least 1, 2, 3, or 4 come the last poll, and then you'll be in the playoff regardless if you're number 1 or not.
Yeah, but they won't stay.
Yeah, they could get it at 12-1 if they beat Georgia. Yes.
Well, okay. Well, they won't stay at 4 if they don't win the SEC. So.
Yeah, but the funny thing about it is Georgia can go undefeated, and I think it happened with Alabama a couple years ago. Georgia can go undefeated, go into the title game at number 1, and lose to Alabama, and Georgia could still be in the top 4.
Yeah, but I'd like to win.
Yeah, well, to me, Georgia, Alabama is just like Atlanta teams in the playoffs and Braves, Dodgers, and it's their kryptonite, man. They got a mental block. They got to find a way to beat them.
Yeah.
Well, and as far as the cocktail party goes, that it's a fait accompli at this point that Florida will not win that game. Florida will be lucky to score. I think they probably they could maybe squeak it to 10 to 14 points, maybe. But I think let me put it this way: if Bennett is your quarterback in that game, Georgia will hang 50 on the Gators. If JT Daniels is the quarterback in that game, they'll hang 70.
That might be true, but when it comes to Georgia, Florida, I have seen when Georgia was good in the middle 2000s, when Mark Richt was here, we had a couple teams within a couple years that was in the top 5, I believe, or top 8. And Florida didn't necessarily have a good team, and y'all beat us twice, man. It's a mental thing. I mean, there's always one game a year.
We have no defense.
That might be true, but anytime Georgia plays Florida, I'm never confident because
you should be confident. You should be confident this year, Dave.
Well,
Florida is walking into that game in complete disarray. At best, Florida is half a team. At best.
Saleen, I'm going to ask you this: thoughts on Dan Mullen?
I hope he resigns. I'm done with. I started this year. I remember listening to Uncle Lou Oh, Jesse's here. Good to see you, you beautiful motherfucker. I listened to Lou this year before the season started, and Lou was talking about Mullen is really not enjoying college football. He doesn't like the way the direction of college football is going, particularly with the paying of players, what is that, name, image, whatever. He's not a good recruiter. He wants to go to the NFL, and I was thinking to myself, I'm really not seeing most of this, Lou. You're reaching. I'm wrong. Lou has it, I think, more right than I do. Lou's got it more right than I do.
So let me ask you a question. This is, and guys, just totally off. If y'all are a movie buff and a horror buff, did y'all watch Halloween Kills? I saw it last night. It was actually pretty good. It's got, I don't know if y'all are into the old Halloween movies, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, well, my thing with Dan Mullen is usually 99.9% of the time I wouldn't fire a guy if he was in this position going to 3 straight years, 6 bowls. But I would fire Dan Mullen, and the only reason is because he just doesn't have the heart for it. He doesn't have the heart for recruiting.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like he has the heart for winning.
It looks, and Dave, no, I haven't seen that, so I'll go
Good
look
movie,
for
man. It was interesting.
video.
But I'm gonna go ahead and go because I know you guys talk more college football, and that's not my thing 100%. But I just wanted to pop hello. And hey, keep me updated on Keith.
I will.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for stopping by.
Of course, always, brother. Later.
I'm more right now as I sit going into into our bye week and then into the cocktail party. I'm more inclined to say that Lou had it more right than wrong, and I had it more wrong than right. I think Mullen is not, obviously he's not the answer. I mean, this is obvious now. He won't get rid of the dead weight that is obvious that it needs to be gotten rid of. But Grantham needs to go. At the very, very least, Mullen needs to fire Grantham. And if Mullen won't do it, Strickland needs to do it. And if Strickland won't do it, then I'm not going to waste my time anymore with this season. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this season's done. I mean, I look at our remaining schedule and I see a 6-6 team. I do. I see 6-6.
6-6. No. I think
I don't see. I cannot. Okay. 2 of our games, the 2 SEC games are on the road: Missouri, South Carolina. I mean, they throw out Georgia. Georgia is going to beat us so badly, it's going to make what we did to them in Athens in 95 or 90, whatever year that was. And when we hung 50 on them in Athens, what they're going to do to us at the cocktail party is going to make that look like a Boy Scout jamboree. So
listen, to me,
the cocktail party out.
To me, the cocktail party is just another game in the East. That's all it is. And depending upon what's going on in the standings in the East is who I root for, because I can't stand either one. Normally, I would want, in this situation, I would want Florida to win just because I want to hear the agony come from the Georgia fans. I want to hear all the excuses if Florida should pull the upset.
Impossible.
But I don't want that. I desperately want Georgia to be 12-0 in Atlanta, because I don't want Bama to get to Atlanta and have to face a Georgia team that is fighting for its playoff life. I don't want that. I'd rather face a Georgia team that knows in the back of their minds, okay, no matter what happens, we're still going. That's who I want to play. I don't want to play we have to win Georgia.
Well, you're not going to be playing, oh my God, they have to win Georgia. You're going to be playing an undefeated Georgia, because Florida is going to offer them no resistance.
Here's the Joel Klatt interesting tidbit of the day. The Georgia defense, first and second team combined, has 9 5-star players. 9. The first and second team combined of the Georgia defense. The entire Pac-12 conference has 9 5-stars.
Oh,
Yeah, that
Lord.
sounds about right. But Georgia is going to wipe Florida out. Then you've got Florida plays South Carolina. I'm not sure of the exact
That's a
order
win.
here.
That's a win.
Florida plays South Carolina on the road. Loss.
What?
Missouri on the road. Loss.
No, that's
Samford, FCS team at home. We should win that game. And we get to play a Florida State team that's in worse condition than we are. So we should win that game. So that's a 6 and 16.
I think you're overreacting a little bit.
No, I don't see Florida being able to go on the road to South Carolina and Missouri. And I've got a $20 bet with Mike Vick on the Missouri game, which I will still keep.
Betting against
You
your own
expect
team?
a team with no defense and a goofball at quarterback. By the way, I haven't mentioned that yet. Emory Jones at quarterback is a failure. Lou just posted up something that's probably true. If Mullen starts Emory Jones one more time, Florida fans might walk out. They might. They're Gator. I'm on a Facebook group called Gator Nation, which, by the way, I am posting on Gator Nation every chance I get. Hashtag Fire Grantham, hashtag Vindicated, hashtag I was right, because I've been on this track longer than anybody on that fucking group. And I've been banned from them 5 times for this.
Well,
so I'm right now because I got more people hashtagging Fire Grantham on that group than there are people on that group. I'm telling you, I converted people because of my stand. I've been consistent. Those glitter gators have been fucking worthless.
You know what?
But that's beside the point. Gator Nation is screaming to bench Jones. I mean, at this point, the season's over for Florida. You might as well play Richardson and give him some time with the firsts, and let them play. Or let him play with the number 1 team, because Jones ain't going to get it done.
All I'm gonna say is that in the future, Richardson is sure going to give Georgia problems, and him being a freshman kind of worries me. But well, hopefully Georgia still, they'll still beat Florida most of the time with Kirby. At least I think so. But Richardson does worry. Not this year. He doesn't worry me, but in future years.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens this year. Probably he's just going to ride the Jones train until the end of the season.
Yeah, well,
but I think I have a feeling that Lou may have been more right than I thought, and I have a feeling that at the end of this year, Mullen might turn in his resignation and go somewhere else.
Well, here's
and
what
you know
what?
It wouldn't upset me. I wouldn't shed a single tear. I'm tired of his shtick. I'm tired of the bad recruiting, and quite frankly, it may be time for him to go. And hey, you know what? I would love to see. I'd love to see what Fickle could do. And what the hell? Might as well take a chance.
Well, here's what I think. If I was Dan Mullen, I'd convert back to offensive coordinator. And he could be, and he won't do this. I know he won't. But he could be an offensive coordinator at Florida. Florida can hire a head coach like Luke Fickell, although he is a northern, Midwestern guy.
He's not leaving Cincinnati.
No, he's not. And we know that. Well, you know what? Maybe if Cincinnati gets curb stomped, he might try to he might think about greener pastures, but you're probably right. He's probably not leaving Cincinnati.
But Orgeron's a candidate for the Florida job, I think.
No. I don't want the Raging Cajun anywhere near Florida. He's not a head coach. He's not. And Mullen isn't going to demote himself to OC and then bring Orgeron in as a figurehead head coach. That combination just isn't going to work. So,
Well, the
and I don't
chalk,
want Orgeron anyway.
the easy money. It says Mel Tucker leaves East Lansing for Baton Rouge, and James Franklin leaves Happy Valley for Los Angeles. Now, I don't know either one of those are going to be true, but that's what the happy money is, right? Or
Mel Tucker.
the chalk money is right now.
Mel Tucker, I think, has a good shot at leaving the USC job. James Franklin, the USC. See, I just don't know about that. I mean,
Mel Tucker is not going to USC. He's not a good fit there.
no. I said James Franklin to USC and Mel Tucker to LSU. I was talking about that, but James Franklin to USC, I don't think that'll happen. 2 reasons. Number one, Penn State's already has a good program themselves, and second of all, I think if James Franklin were to go somewhere, it'd probably be in the SEC again, maybe at Florida. LSU, I don't think so, but I just
Right now,
I wish we
now
could
Penn
lure Charlie
State,
Strong back to Florida. I really do.
right now Penn State has like the number 1, 2, or 3 somewhere, depending upon who you look at, recruiting class. The problem is that they're almost already full, so they're going to get passed. They're going to get bumped back down into the teens because everybody else around them still has scholars to give. But right now, they're way at the top, so he's doing pretty good recruiting.
You know, it's an unbelievable stat from last year in recruiting. That Dan Mullen, out of the top 10 prospects in Florida, he only signed 1 of them. None in the top 8 of prospects in Florida. He signed 1 top 10 prospect in Florida.
Well, here's your stat. I've been saying Saleen hates this. Since 2016, Miami, Florida State, and Florida combined have signed less 5-star Florida high school products than has Nick Saban.
Well, yeah, because that's where Nick Saban goes to recruit. I mean, he loves it.
And Florida, the University of Florida, should have a long time ago tried to build a wall around Florida and keep Georgia and Alabama and all the other schools out of Florida as much as possible.
That's what Kirby's basically done. He's basically built a wall around Georgia.
Well, Nick Saban just flies his private jet. They fly the school jet down there, and he sits in your living room, and he folds his hands on your kitchen table, and there's 6 national championship rings on it. And he says every single student, every single player that I've recruited to Tuscaloosa has left with at least 1 of these. Ding!
Well, see, he used to have better success in Georgia, but since Kirby's there,
Well, he can not now. They just got a defensive tackle out of Georgia, but it's rare. I mean, Bama doesn't get anything out of Georgia like they used to. Not even close.
Yeah.
Well, if the University of Florida had, which you could argue, and I'm sure Slim Shady Canes will probably argue this more than anybody else, but you could argue that Florida is, of the major programs and the minor programs in this state, the one that most people would say is the top program in the state, based on record, based on reputation, based on facilities.
Well, yeah.
If we had a head coach that liked to recruit, we could have built that wall and prevented Saban and prevented Smart from raiding our state as much as they do. Now, that's my belief. I may be in the minority, but we don't have a coach that wants to recruit. That's why Saban, in addition to, flashing the rings and all that, but you know what? That only can go so far in a way if you had a university in this state that could recruit at a higher level than they are. I mean,
well, what's hilarious is that how in the world did Dan Mullen let Miami get a higher recruiting class than him last year? That's just hilarious.
I don't know, because I've been to Miami, used to live in Miami. Miami is a shithole. And I don't care if I offend anyone in the chat.
People are living in
Miami is a shithole, and they don't and
that whole 3-county area.
Want to go there.
Just want to get the hell out of there.
Just gangsters everywhere.
Dade County is a horrible place to live. Broward County ain't that much better. I see you. Dade County, Broward County, lousy place to live. The campus is located in the middle of a combat zone. They don't have their own stadium. It's expensive as hell to go to that university. Education-wise, it's not a very good school to begin with. Why can't we out-recruit Miami? I have no idea, and I blame Mullen for that. And that's one of the reasons, a big part of the reason why it wouldn't hurt my feelings if Mullen resigned at the end of this year.
Well, another thing too is that with Florida right now,
Jesse?
with the program that they're in, especially with Miami and Florida State being down, they should have a top 5 class every year, at least top 7.
Yeah, go Tigers. Oh yeah, go put some gumbo whoop ass on somebody.
Hey, Tiger Baskins is here.
Got the Coach Oldsmobile ready. Got a biodiesel van.
Is this Tiger Baskins?
No,
This is Coach Old.
No, Tiger Baskins is in the chat, but that's not Tiger.
I'm
Baskins.
retiring and taking dog the bounty hunter's job. I'm gonna be.
Who's this?
I'm gonna be Coach Old the bounty hunter. Knock, bitch! I'm putting a 55-gallon drum of gumbo whoop ass on you.
Who does it sound like to you?
This sounds like a troll.
No, that's Jesse.
Oh,
There ain't no trolls. The only trolls that come to my house is the one that come through the back door.
I'm very glad that Ed O is still going to be the coach November 5th, because he's going to get a warm, loving reception at Bryant-Denny.
who?
The only
Coach
thing
O.
they get from me, they getting a lot of warm love from me all over the place. It's
Get
gonna be
ready,
like Halloween. Be all over the damn thing.
We
Demo.
55-17'd your ass in Bryant-Denny West on a Saturday night where
Yeah,
nobody's
well,
supposed to win last year.
I 55-17 23-year-olds last night. Ain't no problem.
All I know is I'm glad it's a bye week for Florida, because I'm exhausted by that team.
Can we talk about the game of the week? The game of the week is Iowa State is going to bust Oklahoma State's undefeated bubble.
The game of the week is in my pants.
Untrue.
The game of the week is in my pants. That's all there is.
The game of the week, and the game I will be live streaming on Saturday is Harvard versus Princeton. The winner got the inside track to the Ivy League championship. They're both undefeated. It's at Princeton. It's a good rivalry. That's the game of the week. And I'm going to live stream it, so everyone come on here. It's 1:00 on Saturday. Come on in. Have a good time. Get some Ivy League football.
It's the Anabaptists versus the Presbyterians live on SaleenDrivers.
Oh, shut up. Hey, you should like Harvard, wise ass. They're a Harvard Crimson.
I got 15.
Well, I
got
can't stand
15
it.
girls running around the sidelines with their kids. The kids look better than the damn athletes at LSU. I'm going to guarantee you that.
Yeah, I mean, if Dan Mullen were to become an offensive coordinator again, that'd probably be his best move. But there's no way he does that really after 13 years of head coaching. I just don't see it. He'll probably go to the NFL, honestly.
I got to go to the hot tub and get my whistle wet. All right, y'all see y'all. Go Tigers.
Well,
I don't, you know what? If Mullen leaves the University of Florida, I don't care where he goes. Just take Grantham with you.
take Grantham with you.
But I swear to God, if Grantham is still there in 2022, I really am going to have to question whether or not I'm even going to bother watching a single goddamn game. I'm so over watching this defense, which is worthless.
Y'all should have hired.
I have to say that as much as I've enjoyed the damage that Grantham has done to the Florida defense, I'm so fucking sick of hearing you kvetch over it that I just assume see him gone so we can move on to something different.
No, it's not kvetch. It's kvetch. Don't speak Yiddish, you goddamn redneck. It hurts my ears. Stop it. Sorry. It's kvetch.
You damn.
Ay, help me out here.
Yeah, well,
The God, you see the guy with the right there? Zzz, come on, hit him. Hit him one time. Light him up. Anyway, no, I'll find something else to complain about. You know me, but yeah, okay. Hey, whatever works. If firing Mullen if you want Mullen fired just to shut me up, firing Grant, well, either one. But firing Grantham to
Oh, I
shut
hope
me
they
up
both
makes you
stay.
happy. I'm happy to make you happy.
I hope they both stay. I don't like Florida, so the fact that they're in disarray is just fine by me. I don't want anybody to come in there and straighten them out.
Florida's no threat
That's
to you.
why
What
that's
are you
why I didn't
talking
want that's
about?
why I didn't when Kirby left and I knew he was leaving. I just prayed and prayed and prayed he wouldn't go to Georgia because I knew what would happen if he did. And I was right.
Well, Florida's no threat to Alabama right now, so I don't know why you're worried.
well,
Everybody is a threat to Alabama.
that's
I
all Jeff.
consider
Paranoid much?
I consider everyone a threat. Until the
Captain
season
Trips,
is over,
I'm considering it, Captain Trips. I'm considering it, but
until the season is over and we're holding the golden champagne flute, I consider everyone a threat. You have to. You have to. You can't afford to take anybody lightly because you never know when the ridiculous could happen.
Texas A&M.
Yeah, exactly. A&M. I mean, and you're crazy if you don't think that can happen to you.
See, that's the thing about Georgia, Florida. It is a rivalry game, so Georgia's to watch out.
Captain Trips, what
A lot of
channel
times
is that going
a
to
lot of
be
times
on?
these
I assume
upsets
you're
are
talking
when
about my Harvard stream. It'll be here on this channel. Yeah.
a lot of times these shocking results are actually not in the it's a rivalry game, so you got to look out. It's usually when the team that's so heavily favored is not paying attention. They've kind of let their guard down a little bit, and somebody just surprises the hell out of them from out of nowhere. That's how it happens a lot of times.
Well,
Florida,
And I'm
Georgia
not
is a
saying it's going to happen
rivalry
to Georgia.
game.
I would
So,
be somebody beating Georgia in the regular season would have surprised me more than somebody beating Alabama in the regular season, which I predicted. But that doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that it can't happen. It just means that it's like 0.00000001 unlikely to happen.
well, Florida beating Georgia this year is unlikely to happen. So you're going to get your wish of Georgia. I mean, of all the games that Georgia has remaining from now until the end of the season, I think we could argue that, well, up until maybe a week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, Florida would have been their toughest challenge. Florida just proved that they're no challenge to anybody, really. So
you know what Florida should
Georgia
do?
has clear sailing into the SEC title.
I think it'd be interesting if Florida were to hire Jeremy Pruitt in the offseason, the defensive coordinator.
No, he's not. No, they're not going to do that.
Well, I know they're not, but that's something I'd
I mean,
consider.
why would that be interesting? If Jeremy Pruitt's no good at anything. He might as well.
He's
hire
good at coaching
Lyle.
defense.
Yeah, terrific. He's no good at coaching, but we might as well hire Butch Jones. I mean,
Well, I said defensive
why don't
coordinator.
we rehire Moose Dump as the DC?
Well, he was great. He was a good DC at Georgia and a good DC at Alabama. So he's just not a good coach.
I don't want to retread from Tennessee. I really don't.
Well, y'all should have hired Will Muschamp. Y'all should have hired Will Muschamp, a defensive coordinator, last year.
No. I've already said on record, and I'll say it again right here, loud and proud and in public. If Florida hires Will Muschamp in any capacity on the football staff, I don't care if he's an intern. I don't care if he's a guy watching film in a little dark cubicle like he does it at, like Saban does with all of his retreads. I don't care if they hire him to gather the team's laundry up at the end of the game. Any capacity Moose Stump is hired at the University of Florida football team, I become that day a Central Florida fan. I will make a video of me packing up all my Florida memorabilia,
a great
all
defense.
my helmets, all my shirts, all my flags, all of it. I will pack it up into crates and I will stick it in a closet somewhere until he leaves the program.
He's a great defensive coordinator.
I don't give a shit if he's blessed by Jesus Christ. I don't care. If Moose Stump becomes a Gator coach at any level, I become a Central Florida fan. And I say that on the souls of my children. I will take off my Florida plates on my car. I will re-register them with standard plates. I will take the decals off. I won't sell my car because it's Gator blue, but you get the idea.
Oh,
Everything Florida related goes away from my life if Moose Stump comes back to the University of Florida. My right hand to God. That will happen. I will make a video of me doing it.
And then you'll put it back on.
Huh?
And then you'll put it back on.
After Moose Stump leaves, yes. But you can take me at my word. If Moose Stump comes back to UF, I become a Central Florida fan.
Well,
I think right now we have.
That's how much I hate him.
As it sits right now, LSU.
Despise him.
As it sits right now, LSU is the number one job that's open in the country. USC's number 2. We'll see what else might pop open later. Harbaugh appears to have saved himself in Ann Arbor. Don't know about Frost in Lincoln. Remember, the thing about Frost is it's $20.5 million if they get rid of him before December 3rd. If they wait until after December or January 3rd, if they wait until after January 3rd, $20.5 million becomes $2.5 million.
Well, then I'd wait.
P Digit says Miami will be open too. Well, if they get rid of Diaz, but then if you've got LSU, let's say that. Now all of a sudden you've got LSU, USC, and Miami as openings. Miami's the clear number 3 out of those 3.
What a dumb decision it would be to get rid of Manny Diaz.
And Manny Diaz has only been there a couple of years.
USC doesn't have the passion, the institutional support, whatever you want to call it, that the Southern schools have. But it's got all those recruits sitting there in Southern California, and your chance to take it and turn it into a conference power, there's really only Oregon ahead of you. So, I mean, your ceiling is a lot higher if you go to USC. If you go to LSU, you're butting heads against Alabama, and you've got to deal with Texas A&M on one side of you, and you've got to deal with Ole Miss on the other side of you. And although you might have the support, it's a lot. Your route to the top is going to be a slog. It's not going to be a lot easier than it would be in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Well,
but
USC
it would be a hell of a challenge.
USC is pretty much a top 3, top 5 job in the country every year. So,
right. But the thing about USC is you have to have your head coach needs to be Hollywood. I mean, that's what sells out there. The good old boy that works in Athens and Tuscaloosa and Knoxville and Gainesville and Baton Rouge and Clemson, and the good old boy shtick doesn't work at USC.
Just like the aw shucks Midwestern bullshit didn't work at Florida with Coach Sharkhumper.
Or yeah. I mean, there is such a thing about the value of regional. I mean, this matters. That's why Fickle's not leaving. That's why Fickle's not leaving Cincinnati. It's why Matt Campbell's not leaving Ames. They fit where they're at. Their
What's up,
families like where they're at.
Yeah, Fickle's never going into the SEC in coaching. He won't do that.
Yeah, well, yeah, probably not. What's up, Slim?
I can't let that statement from Jeff Webster just sit there idly.
Here we
Out
go.
of-
Here we go. Miami's the best job in the country, right? Come on. Let's hear it.
You've never heard me say that, but between Miami, USC, and LSU, LSU is clearly the worst of the three. It's not
What?
close.
Oh, okay, Jeff had his say. Let's
Miami's
hear
a much worse-
Slim's.
Yeah, let's
Slim
hear him out.
has-
Let's hear him
must
out.
have some logic
Well,
behind that statement.
Miami's a much worse job than LSU, and it's not close.
No, let's
Well,
let
wait a
Slim
minute,
have a
wait,
say.
okay, hang on.
Let Slim have a say.
Let Slim explain his statement.
Well,
If
for
he can.
starters, both Miami and USC, it's easier to win in both of those conferences, and you're not having to play Ole Miss, Alabama, and improving Arkansas, Georgia every year, as opposed to LSU. The recruiting grounds in South Florida and Southern California are 10 times what they are in Louisiana.
Yeah, and guess who gets all those recruits in Florida? Georgia and Alabama. So what's even the point?
Georgia doesn't have a whole bunch of recruits from Florida. What are you talking about?
Well, they sure
They
go
have
in there.
some. They
Huh?
have some.
They have some, but they don't have anywhere near as many as Alabama.
Well,
Yeah.
This is true. This is true. Alabama recruits at a higher rate in Florida than Georgia does.
And also, let's not forget that the NCAA, as of right now, is still parked on LSU's campus. So, out of those three right now, LSU is by far the worst job.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, Slim. That's right. I forgot about that. There could be a bomb waiting to go off.
well, Miami's just. I'll say it. Miami's dead.
No, they're not. They've just made wrong coaching hires, same way Tennessee has.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like saying Georgia was dead before Mark Richt got there. They hadn't been shit in 20 years.
Well,
So, I mean, if you're ignorant to football history, yes, Miami and Tennessee are dead. If you're not, this is nothing but another downturn that every team goes through.
the reason why Miami's dead is no one wants to go there.
Then how are they littered with 4- and 5-star recruits?
No,
If
I'm
no-
talking about coaches.
Everybody, you know what? Paul Feinbaum said the same. Everybody did the same thing. And
Okay, first of all, you're bugging out. Second of all, what Paul Feinbaum has to say is whatever.
well, and he's not the only one. Everybody said it. Everybody said nobody wanted to go there, and they hired the best option on the market at the time.
Well,
Where are you on that, Slim? By the way, are you ready to cast Diaz aside, or do you want to keep him around?
No, I
your mic is messing up.
It's a signal. It's not as much.
Yeah,
outside
Well,
of
Slim.
outside of
LSU is a much better
ahead.
job than Miami. That's all I gotta say.
Wait, Slim, your signal's you're all busted up. Repeat what you just said. Damn,
Yeah,
he must
his signal
he
is
must
shot.
be in his truck on a bad spot or someplace.
Yeah.
Well-
Here we
Okay,
come.
well, I'll say what I have to say about the Miami and LSU job.
Well,
LSU,
hang on. Will, turn your camera on first. All right. At least he's not naked.
Why would I be?
I don't know. I've gotten crazy trolls before. It'll happen again. All
Okay,
right.
good afternoon,
What
everyone.
else you got? What else you got, Rocky?
okay, well, what I was gonna say is that LSU, you can win 9-10 games a year at LSU and have top 5 recruiting classes still. Miami, you can't do that. Miami's pretty much like a 6-7 win program. They're not there. Florida is much ahead of them. Alabama comes into Florida and takes recruits. Miami's just
Where's
I
your evidence? Where's your evidence that Miami is a 6-7 win program? I mean, Mark Richt came in there
the past
year
15
2 and won
years.
10 games.
The past 15 years,
And
that's my evidence.
Georgia did the same thing. So what's your point? Alabama's done the same thing. What's your point?
Well, Miami's
If
dead
you're
until
ignorant to football history,
until Miami gets a head coach that turns their program around, they're dead.
I mean, make
Just
a
like
logical
Tennessee.
argument, not a feelings argument.
What? No. Well, I mean, I don't see how the Miami job is better than LSU. I just don't see it. But I mean, at least LSU gets
the
all
route
Well,
the
I
route
know.
to success. The route to high level success is quicker at Miami than it is in Baton Rouge, is the point I think Slim is trying to make. And in that point, I would agree with him because of who LSU has to butt their head against as opposed to who Miami does.
That's true. With Saban there, it does taint the LSU job a little bit, but LSU
Look,
gets all those.
Saban is going to get his kids, and there's nothing anybody anywhere can do about it. He went into Norman, Oklahoma, and took Josh Jacobs away from Lincoln Riley. He went into Austin, Texas, and took the Brockemeyer twins, both of whom are ranked in the top 10 on the offensive line and are now freshmen in Tuscaloosa, and both of whose daddy played at Texas, took them right out of Austin, Texas. He went 12 miles from LSU Stadium and took Devontae Smith. So Saban is going to get who Saban's going to get. You just got to make sure you get the guys you can get.
Saban always has a solution.
Well, if Kirby wins a national title, then he'll have even better recruiting classes because he'll be able to say that as well.
Right. The point I was trying to make is these other teams don't need to focus on counter recruiting Saban. They're wasting their times if they're trying to counter recruit Saban. What they need to do is identify people they can get, and then make sure they do get those guys.
And Kirby's done that, and he's out recruited Saban twice. Yeah, I think twice. Yeah.
Yeah, and he still doesn't have the roster that Saban has.
Yeah, well, he at least he's close, and this year he does
But he's
have
close.
the roster.
He's close, and he's as far as I'm concerned, as a Bama fan, he's our number one threat, hands down, and was the minute he took the job.
I mean, I think Georgia's roster for this year, this season, 2021, is a better roster than Bama's, especially on defense.
Ah, there you go.
This is the year. This is 29 LSU dressed up as Georgia 2021 in this manner.
Georgia's not going to fall off.
In
like
this
that.
manner. In this manner. All the stars are aligned. Now's your time to do it. Everything is in place. So go and get it.
Okay.
Because it's going to be a lot harder next year. Georgia's not going to fall off, but they'll drop like Alabama has this year, while Alabama goes back up. So now's your time. Now's your time, Georgia. Strike now.
I'm glad you said that because I was assuming you're saying that Georgia's going to fall off. So I'm glad.
No. Not with Kirby Smart there or not.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is there's more marbles in play for Georgia this year than there will be next year.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Take it this way with the LSU Miami job. Ed Orgeron wins, or he did win 9-10 games a year at LSU. He's not doing that at Miami. So, and there's a lot of Miami coaches who could probably do a little bit better at LSU. Just because there's more talent. Well, they have Louisiana locked up. They've built a wall around it. They get all the talent in Louisiana. Yes, they do have to play Saban every year, but LSU, they're that team that always wins 10 to 11 games a year, and until 2019, they didn't really have a spark and get past Saban and win the West and all that. But at LSU, you can at least do that.
That's
Miami,
because
you
up
can't.
that's because up to 2019, until they won in Bryant-Denny in 2019, they won 46-41. They'd lost 8 straight to Alabama before then.
Yeah. And they're always ranked in the top 5 versus Bama, which is overrated matchup. But
It's the same thing Georgia has. Georgia hasn't done anything wrong in the last 6 or 7 years. They just haven't beaten Alabama. Well, so nobody else has either.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
besides
J-Dub,
Clemson.
I have
Clemson's gotten Bama a couple times, but
J-Dub, I have a question. I just want to see your honest opinion. Do you think Alabama will lose another game before the playoffs or no?
I think it's very likely that they'll lose the SEC title game to Georgia.
Okay.
well, Miami can't.
So they'll win at Kyle Field.
I don't expect Alabama to make the playoffs. I think the A&M loss cost them the playoffs because now they don't have an insurance card like Georgia has. Georgia's going to get to Atlanta with a 0 in the right-hand column, and if it turns into a 1, it won't matter because they dropped to 3? They dropped to 4. They're still getting in the playoffs even if they lose to Alabama.
Well,
So Georgia's got an insurance card Bama doesn't have. That's why I don't want Georgia to lose to Florida. I don't want a wounded Bulldog team in Atlanta.
well,
No,
Georgia's
JT
not losing to Florida, so I
No,
don't know what you're worried about.
and JT's
another thing,
is
too,
JT healthy now, Jacob?
JT Daniels. We're just gonna have to see because Kirby's giving out no information and he won't. So we'll see who comes out off the sideline Saturday. And after Florida, if Stetson Bennett starts against Florida, it's very likely we won't see JT Daniels the rest of the season. And
Do you think we'll see him in the
SEC
SEC title?
Well, I don't know why we'd play him in the SEC title when he hasn't played since.
If we're playing Alabama, we'd play him.
I know, but him not playing since September, that's
I think you're going to see JT Daniels in the cocktail party. I think that's what they've been saving him for. And if he plays up to his potential, George is going to hang at least 60 on Florida. Easy.
I'm going to say this. I got to see, because I didn't have anything to shoot Saturday, I got to see Georgia play for the first time this season where I could actually sit and watch the game a little bit. And Stetson Bennett really impressed me. He throws the ball with tremendous accuracy.
he gets too much hate.
What he was doing, which he was not doing last year, is last year he was staying in the pocket and trying to throw over the lineman. This year he's stepping up past the rush, and then nobody's in front of him, so he can see what he's throwing at. I think the margin, the gap between Stetson and JT is a lot smaller than a lot of Georgia fans think. Georgia fans think like Stetson, that JT's like a 95 and Stetson's like a 75. I think there's this huge gap. I think there's a gap, but I think it's a much thinner gap than Georgia fans think.
First of all, I don't know what Daniels has done to be at 95. Second of all, I would agree with that.
I'm just using that as an example.
Oh, okay. That's an
He's
the most overrated player.
You just triggered him.
He's the most overhated player at Georgia I've seen ever. I mean, he's playing good right now, and when JT Daniels comes back, so we play Daniels. Yeah, but I mean,
You see the chat says we just have PTSD when it comes to Stetson.
yeah, I mean, we overreact. That's one thing. It's Stetson and the
Okay, but let me ask the Georgia fans this: what game did Stetson Bennett cost you? What has Stetson Bennett cost you?
Oh goodness!
Oh,
the Big 12 commissioner just. Oh my God! Why would he release this statement?
Why do we care about the Big 12 anyway?
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
I just saw.
All right. Well, what's the
Big
statement
12,
since you've whetted our appetite? What's the statement?
Okay, well, basically he said that Texas and Oklahoma will get no better in the SEC than they will in the Big 12. They won't recruit better. They think they're going to win national titles, but they won't. And I'm reading it and I'm like, oh my goodness.
I think the
I
game.
wouldn't disagree with that statement, not a
All of
bit.
that is
I mean,
true.
I don't think that I've been of the opinion consistently that Oklahoma and Texas don't bring any addition to the SEC except for fan base.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to start drama by releasing a statement like that.
Here's my
Now he's
answer.
pissed off that he's losing his fan base, and he's going to have to get nothing teams to replace them, or
Nothing
the
teams. He
conference is going to
got
disappear.
Cincinnati.
It's sour grapes.
I guess.
It's fun. That statement is 120% pure sour grapes. He's losing his 2 meal tickets in the small 12. He knows it, and he's saying, fuck it. They're leaving. It isn't going to matter. Isn't going to hurt me. They're going to bring nothing to the SEC. They're not going to get anything for themselves. He's being a 5-year-old saying, I didn't want to play anyway. Yeah. So yeah.
He's talking about how they weren't good in the Big
Being
12
child.
anyways.
So Jeff Webster asked us, what game did Stetson Bennett cost us?
Stetson has not cost us a game this season. That's all I'm concerned about.
I think he's mentioning last season.
Well, last season is last season. Players improved, just like Zamir White.
Yeah, true.
Right. So why do you have PTSD over him? He hasn't done anything to.
I mean,
Honestly, I think we can beat Bama with Stetson Bennett.
You're winning with.
we
100%.
lost to Bama with Stetson.
Well, okay. Well, two things here. First of all, Bama was a much better team last year, and Georgia's a much worse team last year
True.
than they are now. Second of all, Stetson Bennett's improved as a player, so I'm not as concerned now.
JT would have beat Florida last year, says
Georgia
Alex.
doesn't need to score 50 points like they needed to last year to beat Bama.
Well, I at one level, Alex, I believe that, and Florida had an incredible offense last year. I think Florida would have been able to outscore any team in the country last year. In fact, they scored a ton of points last year. They had a video game offense. They just had a Swiss cheese defense. I think Florida still would have outscored Georgia last year. I think the game would have been closer.
Well,
Is anyone still in the back
I
room?
will say this.
No.
For everyone thinking that
I'm gonna hop
yes,
on
I am
out.
defending.
Oh,
I am
okay. See
defending
you
Stetson Bennett, but I
See
do think we should start JT Daniels once he's able to come back. But it would.
You need to get if Daniels is able to play. You guys need to get Daniels some playing time because he's had almost none this season. And if he's going to be any kind of knock off all that rust in time for the SEC title game, you better start doing it now.
Well, I'm going to say this: Daniels for himself needs to play because if he doesn't play the rest of the season, what NFL team is going to? I mean, I know someone probably would draft him, but I'm just saying.
Daniels can come back next year.
He could come back next year. And if he does, then Georgia's a serious contender again for the national title, which, it's 2 years in a row, so I don't know if we're going to do that. But
here's the problem. Until nobody's going to bet on Georgia to win the national title until they prove that they can do it. They haven't proved that they can get past Alabama yet.
Slim,
and nobody's going to bet
Slim
on
Shady, everybody's basically said Georgia's the best team in the country. I don't.
Okay, and guess what? I've watched football now for over 30 years, and I've seen better teams lose to worse teams multiple times every year.
You can ask 10 people off the street if they had to pick a team and put money on the team to win the national title, who would it be? 8 out of 9 of those 10 people would say Georgia. So
okay, and 2 years ago they said Georgia was the better team, and South Carolina rolled in and beat them. I mean,
Georgia was
it can happen. That's why
Georgia
you
wasn't
play
as
the game.
good.
Is Georgia one of the best teams in the country? Absolutely. Are they? Do they deserve their number one ranking? Absolutely. Can they be beaten?
Okay.
Absolutely.
2 years ago,
not by Florida, but they can make.
Let's take it back, Celine. 2 years ago, no one said that Georgia was going to win the national title mid-season like that, like they are now. you probably get one person out of 10 say
No,
Georgia.
I'm just saying that Georgia is a very, very, very good team. They look fantastic. They look like a national title team. And you know what? A lot of people will pick them to win the Natty, but you still have to go out on the field and do it. You know, it's like that head coach of the Cardinals said all those years ago. What was his name? You know, he said, if they're the champions, then crown their ass.
Well, Uncle
You're
Lou's
not
asking
the
y'all.
champion yet.
Uncle Lou said that lots of people are betting on UGA to win the national title.
Yeah,
why do
I'm
you
one
think?
of those people. I think UGA is going to win the Natty, but they still have to go out and do it.
I think he's
And
asking.
I'm saying Georgia very well could, but I'm not putting money on them to do it until I've seen them do it at this point, because it
Okay,
has
well,
been
that's
so
fair
long.
enough. That's fair enough. That's
You
you.
know,
but
I mean,
a lot of people would.
Florida looked from an offensive standpoint in 2020, they looked like a national title contender, but they couldn't do it. They didn't even come close. We know why, but I'm just saying a
Yeah, we
lot
know
of
why.
people say a lot of people say a lot of things, but you know, you gotta go and do it. You know, Seattle should have won that Super Bowl that they gave away in the last 30 seconds. You know, they had the game pretty much won until they lost it. They gave it away. Georgia looks like the inside
That's that
track to
offensive
winning.
coordinator.
I can't think of more than one or two teams that can stand up to Georgia and beat them.
Oh,
Alabama is
goodness.
one of them.
All right. First of all, Tanel, what is your issue of Stetson? What she says. Well, I'm guessing she's a lady. I can't believe we're doing what we're doing with freshmen and Stetson. Like,
Well, she's going based on, you know, you have a lot of talent that's you got a ton of talent that's not playing for various reasons.
yeah,
Mostly
we
injuries.
probably should play the freshmen, but you know, I wouldn't complain about it right now, at least.
Oh,
Besides
and way
not playing
back
them at the
when,
end of the
Jerry
game.
Wells also asked if I was going to watch the cocktail party.
He's
Honestly,
asking.
probably not.
Well,
Man, I've said 100 times, I've seen weird things happen in rivalry games, and it would not surprise me at all if Florida upset them. I don't think they're going to, but it wouldn't
No,
surprise me.
no. But I'll tell you, but based on that statement, I'll give you a great example. 19, and you have to go back in history a little bit. 1997, year after we won the national championship,
Georgia beat you.
We lost 2 games that year. We were out of the national title race long before the game against Florida State came around. The team was a bit despondent. We had a good team, looked like could have defended the title, played for the title. Florida State rolls into the swamp in 97, ranked number 1. I think we were ranked 10. And they call this game the greatest game ever played, at least in Florida history. Maybe one of the greatest games of all time. We had a freshman quarterback who turned out later to be worthless, and a senior who never started a game in his life. Spurrier rotated both of us, Brandeis and Doug Johnson, rotated him in and out practically every other play. And I mean, it was a back and forth. It was a slugfest. It was a very physical game, but it was a rivalry game. Florida State came into that game heavily favored to be number 1 at the end of the season, go and win the Natty. Florida beat them 32-29 and killed their national title hopes. I don't remember who won the Natty in 97, honestly, but it wasn't Florida State.
It was Nebraska.
Nebraska. Okay. So Slim has a point. Anything can happen in a rivalry game. Look at 97 and that game.
Talking about 97, 2014, Miami, Florida State. Miami rolled in there 7-0 against the Jameis Winston-led defending national champions Florida State. Miami ended that season 7-5. Florida State beat us by 1, by a blocked extra point is how they won.
Well,
Right.
Florida State was a fraud team that year.
Well, but that's not the point. It's a rivalry game, and anything can happen. Now, a rivalry game is coming up next week in the cocktail party. Florida Georgia is a solid, nationally recognized rivalry. Florida isn't going to offer any resistance to Georgia, no matter who's taking the snaps from center. And we know this, but it is a rivalry game. You know, strange shit can happen. Ain't going to happen this year. Georgia's not going to get tested for the rest of the year.
I wouldn't bet the mortgage on it. I'm just saying weirder things have happened.
I wouldn't bet. I do have a bet with Colby on this game. I know
the Georgia Florida game.
Colby a watch, huh?
You have a bet with Colby on the Georgia Florida game?
Yeah, we made the bet a while ago.
I'm guessing that's just for fun then.
No, it's a serious bet. He gave me some points, and if Florida wins, he pays me $50. If Georgia wins, or when Georgia wins, he gets a Casio G-Shock.
Might have to send him that in the second quarter.
Yeah, probably. But I already have the watch on my wish list on Amazon. I already have the watch set aside. I sent him the link to make sure it was cool with it. But yeah, I know I'm going to lose that bet. But we made the bet a while ago, and I'm not gonna weasel out on a bet that I made. I made a bet with Mike Vick on the Missouri game. I thought Florida was going to win the Missouri game. I don't think so anymore.
Hang on, Saleen. I can't let that hang in the air. How is Florida State a fraud team in 2014 and they made the playoffs?
Well,
I didn't say
that. What I meant is that they were overrated because you know how they went 13-0, got blown out. That's what I basically meant.
I didn't say that. Oh, Rocky Golf said that. Sorry.
Yeah, because they went 13-0 and then got blown out. That's what I basically meant.
I mean, they beat a ranked Clemson. They beat a ranked Miami. They had another ranked.
I know.
Overrated.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of top 10 teams they'd probably lose to that year.
SEC dog, UF will not destroy Mizzou. UF will actually lose to Mizzou because it's a road game. Florida has no defense. Their offense is in disarray. And quite frankly, I think the head coach wants to be anywhere else but Gainesville at this junction.
Fireball, no. For the last time, Michigan did not win the Natty that year. Nebraska won the Natty. I just don't get how people don't understand. I know they won the AP votes.
It was a shared title this
year. It was a shared title, but I still call it a
shared title in '97.
Yeah, it was, but I still call it. I still call it a fake Natty.
Who won? Is Nebraska and Michigan?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I still call it.
90 was split and 97 was split.
And 91. 91 as well, Miami and Washington. Oh, yeah. But, 97.
I mean, you want to call a fraudulent split. Miami beat 3 top 5 teams that year in 91.
Yeah, I would have given it to Miami, but hey.
Yeah, to me, Miami was the 91 champ.
And I mean,
who
they
was
have
the
a
coach
strong
champ in
argument.
91? Who shared the title in 91? Miami and who?
Washington. And it was Miami should have had it, but whatever.
Well, Miami should have had it in 92, but everybody was pissed off at Miami. That's why they didn't get it.
Because of celebration stuff, all that.
Well, no, that was just the year they come out with it. No, Miami acted a fool all year. That's why everybody was pissed off at them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like celebration stuff.
Jerry Wells points out that Georgia Tech and Colorado geez, whoever thought they would be national champions at
Well,
one
yeah,
time.
that's what
But
Miami
they
did.
split a title at one
Miami
time.
acted. They did a bunch of celebration stuff, got into fights, acted like fools. They
acted like Miami. That's all.
yeah.
And
Well,
and then to end the year, because I was at the game,
it was
they
Texas,
went to the Cotton Bowl and just absolutely obliterated Texas.
but they celebrated the whole time. and got in sports by conduct.
Dude, it was so bad. Miami won that game like 46-3 and had almost 200 yards of penalties against them.
Wait a minute.
And that's
Battle
why-
Angel, you talking about me? I don't want you to come on. I've been dropping the link the entire time here. The fuck? Battle
Yeah,
Angel saying I don't want her in here. Here, here's the link again.
No, let Uber Eats in. I got to put in my order.
Okay, well, Slim Shady, because of that game, wasn't that the next year they instituted a new rule about celebrations and unsportsmanlike conducts and all that?
They instituted the Miami rule. Yes.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, it's not. She
Miami
wasn't
acted
talking-
like that today. Oh, Lord knows what happened to them. No.
I mean, you've seen it, though. I mean, as good as they were on their last national championship run, they were the most penalized team in the country by a long shot.
Because Miami was just, what solidified Miami being dirty, all that was that 2006 fight against who was it? It was I forgot. It was UF.
No, that was FIU.
FIU, right? Yeah.
I mean, what about the fight against Colorado or South Carolina or every other fight they've got into? All of them with Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just another fight.
It's a brutal fight. 33 players got suspended and ejected and whatever.
Does anyone else hear voices in the background?
I hear it too, yeah. Sounds like comedy a game.
Is it me?
I don't know. Let me mute your mic real quick.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely you. It's like a radio or a TV in the background or something.
Oh yeah. I'll cut it down.
Please. That would be special.
I didn't know y'all could hear that.
Well, sometimes it's Slim, because he's in a truck and it sounds like a dispatcher or something going on in the background.
Yeah. Slim does have that happen to him a lot.
My CB's turned off. It ain't me.
Oh.
Plenty of people called in from their flip flops into the Uncle Luke Collins show yesterday.
I keep wanting to sit in on some of those call-in shows, but I got he starts them at 10 o'clock, and I'm just tired as shit by then.
I get it, but I would start it an hour or two earlier.
I wish you would start at 9 or something.
If I hadn't had to be up early this morning, I was going to call in and make him mad last night. I know he's absolutely convinced about it, but if Georgia rolls into the SEC championship undefeated and they lose, Oregon will get in the playoffs over Georgia. I guarantee it.
See, that's the same thing I said about Alabama. So I'm not going to change my thought process now. The reason why I don't say that Georgia would miss the playoffs with a loss in the SEC title is because really I don't think we should talk about that conversation because it's just like, we don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to waste time and cause an argument because we had a 45-minute argument about that last time with Jeff Webster. And
I was going to have some fun with it. That's all. But I mean, I think if you lose on championship weekend, I think that's the last thing that the committee sees. And if the committee sees Georgia lose and Oregon win, sorry.
Here's my thing. Well, okay. Well, basically, I just don't want to, argue long term about something that we don't know is going to happen. We don't know that Georgia's going to go in there and go 12-0, all that. Because look at Alabama. We're talking about them going 12-0 and losing the SEC title. And 12 now they lost. They're 11. They have a loss on the record now, and they can get another one against Georgia.
They could, absolutely.
And Alex Mid said, or whatever, said Oregon would not get in over one loss, Georgia or Bama.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah, they would. Because when you win your conference title game, that's just
I'm just going based off of what the committee's done already. A one-loss team, and I said this about Alabama. They'd be better off at one loss not going to the SEC championship game. That way, the committee's not staring at the loss on championship weekend.
Yeah, well, anyone here can quote me on this if Georgia actually does or this happens. But Georgia should not get in with a loss in the SEC title. A conference champion should get over them. Now, if Georgia wins a national championship and it happens to be without a conference title, well, they're still the national champions, just like 2017 Alabama. But I don't think they should even get to the playoffs if they don't win their conference. But that's just me.
Oh, I said at the time I didn't think Alabama should be in because they didn't even play in the conference championship game.
Yeah, they shouldn't be in. And Jeff Webster says 2-loss Ohio State, all that. But, I'd rather put a 2-loss conference champion over a 1-loss team who didn't even play in the conference championship.
But to be fair, I also said that Notre Dame shouldn't have been in last year.
Notre Dame should never make it. I mean,
well, they were in a conference last year. You played a conference schedule, fine.
They got blown out.
Exactly. You got blown out in the conference championship game. And, I mean, I can only assume their motives behind it. The only reason they put them in is because they did beat Clemson during the season. But,
okay. SEC dog, please explain to me how UCLA is a great team. I need to hear more about that because that's not true at all.
I mean, they have been.
No, they're not. They have
well, I'm saying they're not. They're not right now. I'm saying they have been in the past.
Oh, yeah. But I need you to explain how UCLA is a great team. Just because they beat one of the worst LSU teams since who knows when. I mean, this LSU team is going to finish 7-5, 6-6. So, I don't.
Just as bad as LSU last year.
Yeah. Almost. 4 best teams, not 4 best conference champs. I get that, K-Dog, but, I just think conference – you should have to have a conference title to make the playoffs. I believe in that. Georgia is one of the 4 best teams, and even if they don't win their conference, they'll still be one of the 4 best teams. But you got to have proof. And if you don't win your conference, well, then you don't really have much proof.
I mean, the playoffs out both sides of their neck when it comes to that. So,
yeah. Oh, okay. SEC dog explained Oregon is so great they may lose to UCLA is what I meant. Okay, that makes more sense. He meant Oregon is great, not UCLA. UCLA looked good week 1, but since then they've not been good. SEC is the hardest conference to get out of alive, and that's what makes it so great, right?
And I tried to give Oregon the benefit of the doubt because Fresno State's given several people a hard time this year.
Well, they won.
Do you think the ACC could be shut out of the playoffs this year?
Absolutely. No, they don't have a chance.
I think they probably would be.
They're out right now.
If Michigan wins, they're in. Well, no, because if Pitt goes undefeated and wins ACC championship, or not Pitt, but Wake Forest, I'm just saying if they do it, they can't be left out.
The ACC is pretty much out.
But I don't think it's going to happen. I'd like to see Michigan beat Ohio State. If they do it, they're in. It's either going to be Oklahoma or Oklahoma State in.
No doubt. Oh, good God. P Digits just said no doubt the ACC team gets in. Oh, he's trolling. Never mind.
No. I think the winner of the SEC championship will get in, And as long as Oregon's sitting there with one loss and they win the Pac-12, I think they're in.
Now, if they lose another game, it's a whole different story, right?
Oh, yeah. If they lose another game, I think Pac-12's out again. But
No, I'm talking
as
about
much
with
as,
the loser, the SEC title.
Oh, wait a minute. Is Pitt undefeated?
no, they have one loss.
Well, who's the Pitt? What
Wake
division
Forest.
is Pitt in?
Pitt's in the Coastal with same division as Miami, North Carolina, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech. Wake Forest is in the Coastal. They're undefeated. I mean, they're in the Atlantic. They're undefeated. They're in the same division of Clemson and Florida State.
So if Wake runs the table, gets to the conference, and goes undefeated and wins the ACC, they wouldn't be top four, would they?
I got no reason to think that they would leave an undefeated Pitt and Wake Forest out.
I mean, yeah, if Wake Forest goes undefeated, I mean, I guess you got to give it to them. But, I mean, that's probably not going to happen. And if they lose a game, they're out.
I mean, how far has the ACC fallen if Wake Forest is your contender?
Well,
and as much as, we tend to discredit the Pac-12 because we're not on the West Coast, we hardly ever watch them. We've got no reason to think that a one-loss Pac-12 champ would get left out. I mean, they put Oregon in before. They put Washington in before.
These idiots think that the Pac-12 is out just because you lose the game. And they say, well, the Pac-12 hasn't made it in 5 years, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, I'd like somebody to tell me a one-loss Pac-12 team that missed the playoffs since 2016. I need to hear it. See, that's my point. There hasn't been one. That's why they haven't made it. Now there's a great chance that there is a one-loss Pac-12 champ. So Pac-12's getting in with one loss. I said playoffs are going to be Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Oklahoma 3, put Oregon at 4, Cincinnati at 5. I guess people will be mad about that, but whatever. You just play a real schedule and you can get in.
Yeah, and this is something else that I've tried to get in conversations with people about, but I get that Cincinnati's schedule is a little bit better than Central Florida's, but Cincinnati lost their bowl game in between two undefeated seasons where Central Florida didn't. They beat Auburn, and Central Florida still got left out.
They beat Auburn in the New Year's Six Bowl.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is Cincinnati went undefeated during the regular season, lost to Georgia, and they're saying if Cincinnati goes undefeated in this regular season, they'll get in. What I'm saying is Central Florida went undefeated, won their New Year's Six game, went undefeated again, and still didn't get in.
I will say this. I would, not the Pac-12, but I would put a 13-0 Cincinnati in over a 12-1 ACC team. I would do that.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, but Cincinnati would get bounced out hard.
I mean, Cincinnati pretty much has a tougher schedule than any team in the ACC. I mean,
no, they don't.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
They're a minor. They're in a secondary conference. I forgot which conference it
the
was.
ACC plays no team as good as outside of Clemson.
I would put in a one-loss ACC team over an undefeated Cincinnati.
No.
Any one-loss Power 5 champion is going to get in over an undefeated Cincinnati. 100% guaranteed.
Cincinnati
doesn't belong in a tough enough conference.
Cincinnati
They only played two Power 5 teams the entire year, and one of them was Indiana.
I get that, but Cincinnati, if Cincinnati joined the ACC today, this season, they'd win it, and the playoff knows that.
But you can't name another season where they would, because there's not.
Indiana is the equivalent of
Vanderbilt
or Tennessee in They don't deserve to get into the playoffs because, quite frankly, they don't play a good enough schedule to deserve to get in the playoffs.
This isn't about if they deserve it. It's about if they will. And this also isn't any other season. This is this season. What happens in 2005 doesn't matter for this
Okay,
season.
well, let's look at this season. Who is Cincinnati play? Yeah, who have they played? They haven't played anybody. They played a
Notre Dame.
third-tier small 10 team and Notre Dame, which is useless. They haven't played anybody. They will get curb stomped in a game against a really good Power 5 team.
In my opinion, the playoff committee's already shown that they're not going to put them in no matter what they do.
Why? No, like they're number 2 right now.
Ask the playoff committee, not me. Ask them.
Okay, well, how about you ask why a 12-1 ACC team? There's no way, there's no chance possible they get it over 13-0 Cincinnati. There's none.
Yes, they
Cincinnati's tough. Their schedule is basically compared to any other ACC teams outside of the Georgia and the Alabama.
If you honestly believe that, I need you to go reevaluate your life because they're not even close.
Outside of the non-con games, I mean, you put it in conference. Okay, yeah, the ACC schedule is a little bit better, but I mean, no.
I just don't see giving Cincinnati a top 4 ranking at the end of the year when their schedule is too damn easy.
They're number 2.
Against who?
It doesn't mean the playoff committee.
Okay, so even if you don't play anybody, but you still look good, you should penalize the team for it.
I guess not, but they're still okay. They hold their number 2 ranking through to the playoffs. They get voted in to play the playoffs. The number 3 team is going to be a Power 5 team, conference winner, and is going to curb stomp them.
Okay, and that's not what the playoff is. The playoff is put the 4 best teams through 13
They're not the
games.
They're not the 4 best teams.
It doesn't matter what they play. If Cincinnati gets 13-0, and there's an ACC team 12-1, they're fighting for that 4th spot. Cincinnati's getting it. It doesn't matter. It's through 13 games. It doesn't matter what you think is going to happen in the first round. That's just what's going to happen. And Cincinnati's a better team than any team in the ACC right now, and the committee knows it.
No, they're not. You can name 25 teams in America that would beat Cincinnati.
No, in the ACC, Cincinnati would win the ACC today.
No, they wouldn't. I don't think so.
Yes, they would.
No, I don't believe that either. I'm sorry.
Would. Yes, they would.
Clemson would beat them. Miami has the potential to beat them. North Carolina has the potential
they
to
wouldn't.
beat them. Pittsburgh has the potential to beat them. I said potential.
Cincinnati would win the ACC today, and it wouldn't be close.
No, they would.
Yes, they would. 100%.
No.
And they beat Miami by 50.
I don't see it. I don't see the talent on Cincinnati to hang with the better Power 5 teams.
Better Power 5 teams. ACC, I don't see any good Power 5. Well, I don't see better Power 5 teams in that conference.
I think Clemson could beat them handily.
No.
Yeah, Clemson would curb stomp them. North Carolina would curb stomp them.
Miami. Okay, that's just ignorant.
State would curb stomp them.
You said Miami would curb stomp Cincinnati.
Yeah. You realize there's absolutely no comparison between the talent on Miami's roster and the talent on Cincinnati's, right?
You said Miami would curb stomp Cincinnati?
Yeah, they would.
No, they wouldn't.
I don't know about curb stomp, but I think Miami could still beat Cincinnati. It may be a 3-point game.
You guys, what? You're just hating on a group of 5 team. That's all it is.
No, I'm not hating on a group of 5 teams. I'm not hating on anyone. I'm saying that a group of 5 team doesn't have the talent level to play with the Power.
I can bring anybody else in here right now. They'd agree with me. Cincinnati would curb stomp Miami, and they beat Clemson. They'd curb stomp Clemson. They would. They'd win the ACC today. They'd go 13-0 and win the ACC without a question.
No,
I don't get what you don't understand. Miami would not have a chance against Cincinnati.
And what makes you think that? What
Cincinnati's
team
a
has
much better team.
What team has Cincinnati beat that any
Yeah.
team I name would not curb stomp?
Okay. You want to do it this way? Okay, what team is an ACC team beat close to Notre Dame's level? Let's go with that. They haven't.
Notre Dame's not a good team.
Notre Dame is a good team.
Notre Dame's your argument. Notre Dame is not a good. I'm not saying they're a terrible team, but Notre Dame's not good.
It's a better win than any team in the ACC has had. See, Uncle Lou agrees with me. See, everybody agrees with me. There's no way Miami would beat Cincinnati. That's one of the.
I'm happy for you that Uncle Lou agrees. There's many things I disagree with Uncle Lou about. What's your point?
Miami would get curb stomped by Notre Dame, and they'd get curb stomped by Cincinnati, and it's not.
Somebody agrees with you doesn't make it the gospel truth.
Okay, guys, gonna have to leave it there. I got the call. I gotta kill the stream. I gotta go to my folks' house. So we can pick this up next week.
Okay, well, let me ask the chat. Was I right or they right? Would Miami beat Cincinnati? Let me know.
Yeah.
Well, it's anything's possible, right? But I don't think that Cincinnati is worthy of being considered a better team than the majority of the better teams in the Power Five. I don't. I think
y'all should consider
Cincinnati will give a lot of those teams a good game, but I think a lot of those teams would beat Cincinnati.
Okay, well, Slim Shady's just being an ACC homer. He thinks
maybe,
Miami beat Cincinnati.
Well,
I'll tell you one thing though: you put
me,
Cincinnati into the SEC and they get creamed.
Okay,
apparently you don't know me.
Okay,
I could care less about conference. I didn't care about the Big East. I don't care about the ACC.
Well, if Cincinnati joined the SEC, they'd probably go 11-1. Well, no, they go 10-2. Georgia and Bama would beat them, but Georgia would beat them.
Bama would beat them. A&M would beat them.
No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. There's only two teams in the SEC better than Cincinnati. That's Georgia and Alabama.
Well, okay, we'll just go with Georgia and Alabama can beat Cincinnati. That's 2 losses. They're out.
Well, they wouldn't be both on their schedule, so Cincinnati would probably go 11-1.
No, they wouldn't.
Yes, they.
Because half the SEC would beat Cincinnati.
Oh my God!
Beat them,
the last time Florida played Cincinnati, they beat the ever-loving snot out of them.
You think half? Okay, well, 2009 Florida is all in free agency now in the NFL, not signed. But I digress.
Anyway, I gotta go. I gotta leave it there. We can pick this up next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time for episode 79 of Wednesday Afternoon Live with Florida. We can pick up the Cincinnati versus the world debate. I'm happy to do it. But right now, I got to kick both of you guys out of here and say goodbye to everybody. So.
All right. Well, I enjoyed the show. So see ya.
I enjoyed it too. I think it's a good discussion. But unfortunately, due to family obligation, I got to kill it. So thanks for stopping by, Slim. And thank you, Rock Rolf, my Cincinnati fan.
I'm not a Cincinnati fan. I'm just like
I know that. I'm just playing with you. But good topic, and we'll pick it up next week. I promise.
All right. See y'all. We'll get more people in here to discuss it.
Yeah, we'll get some more people in here.
Have a good day. Go Dogs.
Right. Well, yeah, let's pick the Cincinnati thing up next week. I think it's a good topic, but unfortunately, I can't let it go any further because I have a family obligation. I promised I would be there when they called. They called. I gotta go. Thank you all for. I'm sorry, Tiger. I know you wanted to come in. I was gonna bring you in, but I gotta wrap her up. So thanks for stopping by, everybody. Good chat. Good chat as always. But it is what it is. Anyway, y'all have a good rest of the week. Enjoy the games that are coming up. Florida and Georgia have bye weeks, so Uncle Lou probably won't be taking any rest on that, I will. But I will be streaming on Saturday at 1 p.m. on this channel. I will be streaming a game. It will be Harvard versus Princeton. I know nobody cares. I care. The game means something to me for various reasons, but also 2 undefeated Ivy League schools. The winner of that game has the inside track to the Ivy League championship, so it means something to me. So laugh all you want. Tiger says he's going to stream on his channel when he gets home. Hopefully, when I get home, I'll join that stream, at least on the chat side, see what's going on there. But thank you all for being here. Hope you all enjoyed as much as I did. Love you all. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your week. Go Gators. Screw you haters. I'm out.